Hello everyone, hope all is well and welcome back. So yesterday I received the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. It looks a little like this, and when I received this I was like, that looks very similar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to do one eye using the Urban Decay Reloaded palette and the other using the Anastasia Sultry palette. I'm not making this video to be salty or shady, that's not my intention with this. I just thought it'd be kind of a fun idea, and I got so many recommendations from you guys to do this in my DMs when I posted a picture of the palette side by side. I know that product production takes a really long time, so I do think that this is just a coincidence. Creativity comes in waves, and there's been so many times for me that I think of a look with a specific color scheme, and then shortly after a look exactly like what I was thinking pops up on my feed. So it just happens. Maybe you have a brand preference and you prefer one's shadow formula more than the other, so in that case this is kind of good. So a little bit about each palette. I have little notes here. The Sultry one is already available. It has 14 shades, 7 mattes, 7 shimmers. It's 59 Canadian and 45 USD. Urban Decay Reloaded palette will be available on urbandecay.com February 18th and online on Sephora March 4th and in-store in Sephora on March 7th. It's 66 Canadian and 55 USD. You get 12 shades, 3 true mattes, 3 shimmery mattes, and 6 shimmers. And I say that they're matte shimmers because they're not quite satin. When I swatched them on my arm, the shimmer kind of goes away. I think brands do that to make the shades a little bit more buttery and something to grab onto when you apply them onto your lid. The shimmers go away once you blend them onto the lid, but I just thought that was important for you guys to know because there is a little shimmer in some of the shades. The ones that have shimmer in the shades is this brown right here, Endgame, this one, Bribe, and Boundaries, this warmer toned. I did make a pro and con list of each palette, so I'm going to get into that right now. First, starting with Sultry, it has a great range of depth and shades. I really like how you can do a warm toned look or a cool toned look. It has a black, so you can really smoke things out. The cons about this palette is that it's limited edition, and if you're texture sensitive, like my mom, she said that she wouldn't buy this palette just solely because of the feel of the palette. It honestly feels like you're touching a nail file. And for the Naked Reloaded, the pros is that it's permanent, and I do really enjoy the upholstered feel of it. It's kind of like a cushion. Let me try to show you. It's kind of squishy. See, it's kind of squishy and it makes like a little cushion noise. The cons is that I'm sad that they got rid of the little brush in here. I love the Urban Decay brushes that come in their palettes. I keep them and I use them very often. So that made me really sad. Honestly, the packaging does seem a little bit flimsy to me. It is a very thin cardboard underneath the little cushion here, so I don't know how it would survive if you're traveling or if it lives in a makeup bag that you kind of tossle around often. Compared to the last few Naked palettes, like these are quite indestructible. Like it would take a lot of hard hits to, I think, damage the shades inside. But yeah, so that's the pros and cons about both palettes. I just chucked this. So before we move on to the eyes, I would love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It would mean so much to me. Oh, and also I'm using 2 different sets of brushes on my eyes today. Both the same except for the little pencil brush, but they're quite similar. I both have doubles of each brush. So hopefully I won't mess up and go by habit. But yeah, let's get into the eye part. I just primed my eyes with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD concealer. I've been loving to use this as a concealer and also an eye primer. I feel like shadows really go on top of it really nicely. Also, my mom has been redoing our pantry. Well, we've been reorganizing literally everything inside our house, and she has pulled out the labeler and she made me these hilarious little labelers for each side. I think they're gonna be backwards on camera, but I'm just gonna do it for comedic reasons for a little bit. I'm gonna take them off, but just so that we know, Urban Decay, ABH. So I'm just gonna take them off, but yeah, ABH side, Urban Decay side. So I'm first gonna start off with the peachy tone in each palette, the pop of color. So I'm gonna go in with Bloom with my Smith 232. Here we go. And I think I'm just gonna do more of a simpler look. So I'm just gonna put that in the crease quickly. And I'm jumping to my clean brush on the Urban Decay side. And the peachy pinky shade in this palette is called Retro. So that's what they look like, very sheerly blended into the crease. This is what they look like swatched. This is Bloom from the Anastasia palette, and this is Retro from the Urban Decay palette, and that's a kitty scratch. But as you can see them swatched, this is a little more peachy and this one's more pink. But on the lids themselves, they look very, very similar. Next shade I'm gonna go in with is the deep brown, and then the ABH palette, it's called Dystopian, and I'm going to take my Smith 230 brush for that. It's a smaller blending brush, and I'm going to start blending that into the outer corner. And I'm gonna take my clean Smith 232 and go into the dark brown in this shade, in this palette, and that's Endgame. I think I'm going to just kind of amp up the pigmentation of that pink in the crease. So I'm just going to go back with that first blending brush we did and the pinker shades just to amp it up a little bit. And I'm switching my brushes. I almost already messed that up. And now I'm going to take the little pencil brushes and I'm going to go in with the same dark brown and just start taking that into the lower lash line. And on this side I'm using the J. Manuel smoke brush. I'm just placing that shade on the outer corner. I think I want to do more of a rounded kind of look. And I'm going to take the blending brush we were using in the crease and outer corner and just start to blend that out. I'm just gonna bring it all the way across. No, I'm not. And for the other eye, I'm going in with the Sonia Kashuk detail smudge, and I'm just gonna use that Endgame shade and just do the same thing. And for the inner corner, I'm taking the same little brush and I'm going to dip into one of the warmer tones. In this shade, in this palette, I'm gonna use Boundaries. And I'm gonna pop that into the little inner third we left. And then on the other side, same brush I used for the lower lash line. In this palette, I'm gonna use Birch right here. And now I'm going to try to deepen up as much as I can right here, just really making that super pigmented out here, just so that it really elongates my eyes and makes them pop. So I'm just going to build it up as much as I can. And same thing on this side. So this is what we've got so far. The only differences I really notice if I'm like really looking is that this shade right here that we use in the inner third corner here, Boundaries, is a little bit more orange toned compared to this Birch shade. Birch is definitely a little bit more yellow toned, and this is quite a lot more peachy, and this is more like a muted pink. But other than that, the browns look virtually identical to me. I can't really see any differences between them at all. Now I'm gonna add some shimmer on the spot we left. For the Urban Decay side, I'm gonna go into Reputation, right here, right beside the pink, right this guy. And I'm first gonna go in with my finger. And on this side, I'm gonna use Cinder. I think that's the most similar. So that's what the shimmers look like. The ABH side is a lot more blinding, it has a lot more punch, and this side is a little bit more muted. This is a little bit more pinky toned, and this is a little bit more neutral toned. Over the top, I'm gonna layer some of the shimmer, this shimmer shade. I'm gonna add Pearl in the center, and for the Urban Decay side, I'm gonna use Angel Fire. So I'm taking this on my finger. This is the Urban Decay side, Angel Fire. And I'm just gonna pop that right in the center just to really open up my eyes. And I'm also gonna add that on the brow bone. This isn't very sticking, and I haven't set my brow bone with any powder or anything. And I'm also gonna put that in the inner corner as well. I feel like I would want to wet this shade if I would want it to be more pigmented, more blinding, more for a blinding inner corner. And this side I'm gonna go in with Pearl, and I'm gonna place that in the same spot. The ABH shimmer formulation is a lot more buttery feeling, and the Urban Decay is a lot drier. Same thing, I'm gonna place that on the brow and inner corner. See, that one I don't feel the need to wet it to make it stick and stay. I think just to kind of match it up, I'm going to wet the inner corner for this one just to get a better idea. I don't know if that's cheating. Okay, after doing that, I feel like they look a lot more similar. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of the Angel Fire here just to kind of match it up, because I put a little bit more on this side, I think. Now they look quite similar. The Angel Fire is definitely pink, more peachy pink reflect, and this one has more of a warm champagne reflect to it. Interesting. I don't think anyone would be able to tell a difference that I used two different palettes on my eyes. What do you guys think? I'm kind of sad that the Naked Reloaded palette doesn't have a black, because at this point of the look, I feel like I would want to add a little bit more smokiness. I'm gonna go quickly put some mascara and some lashes on. So here's a really good close-up of both eyes done with mascara and lashes. Now you can really see because of the black contrast. Just really looking up close, this one's a little bit warmer than this side. The shimmer we used, Reputation, is a lot more pinky based compared to the Cinder shade. I maybe should have used Rose Quartz instead of Cinder. Let me just compare them quickly on my hand. This is what they look like. This is the Rose Quartz from ABH, and this is Reputation. I'm happy I didn't do that because this is quite more icy and a lot more pink. I don't think anyone would be able to tell a difference from far, like who's coming up close to me this close, other than like my dog. What do you guys think? Do you guys see a big difference or anything? Because I honestly hardly see a difference. Oh, by the way, I used the ColourPop BFF mascara. I've been loving it so much. And the lashes I used are the Esquito Gin and Tonics. I just wanted something light so you can really see the shadows. I just went and asked my mom if she could tell a difference between both eyes. She guessed it correctly, ABH and Urban Decay. And I was like, what do you see? Do you see any differences? And she said that this white shimmery shade is a lot more intense on this side than it is on this side. And then I asked her which side she preferred, and she preferred this side, whereas I prefer this one. So it's all preference. She enjoyed the more toned down peachy natural tone of the crease color. It's true, the only difference honestly is the intensity of that center shade I used on both eyes. Here's the look all zoomed out. It's kind of a cute Valentine's Day look, honestly. Moving on to my final thoughts, I really don't think you need both of these palettes. Definitely get the shadow formula you prefer. I love both brands very much. Both palettes are very high quality and they performed amazingly. I just reviewed my pros and con list of both palettes, and based on price and the range from mattes to shimmers, I prefer the ABH one. And the range from mattes to shimmers, I prefer the ABH one. I think the shimmers performed a lot better in my opinion. They're a lot more creamy, and I don't feel like I need to dampen my brush or anything with Fix Plus to make them intense. They are intense right off the bat. With the Urban Decay Reloaded, I feel like I would want to intensify the shimmer on this side. I would dampen my brush with Fix Plus. This one is cheaper and you get 14 shades instead of 12, and you get a good range of warm tones and cool tones, and you get a black in here, which is really important to me because then you can really smoke things out and really deepen up any shade in the palette. It's more bang for your buck. You get a brush and a bigger mirror as well. The ABH one, you get a wider mirror so you can see what you're doing a little bit more. Anyways, that is all for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Let me know what you would like to see next in the comments, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!